Hey there, everyone. It's been who knows how long. Yeah, long time no 2008 style YouTube at you, I guess. But I am actually going to be back with another impressions video today, which is something I haven't done in a very long time. But you know, gotta please the video sponsor, which is myself. So you know, there's a catch. But we are going to be doing an impression today, and it's going to be a game that I recently played and quite enjoyed, which is Inscryption. Now, I played Inscryption on the Nintendo Switch, and if I could give you a basic overview of it, it's a kind of a card battle horror game. That's maybe the best way to explain it. It's like a kind of a horror mystery type of card battle game. And I'm saying that, but when you initially get into the game, it's just a pretty straightforward card battle game that has like a creepy feel to it. So you'll go into Inscription and you'll think, this is kind of cool, but it's a little simple. Like you go into it and you build decks out of like types of cards. It's any type of deck building game. So if you've played like Slay the Spire or something like that, you have a general feel of how the game is. But Inscription does a lot of things that are really cool and really different from something like, say, Slay the Spire, which is a great game. I don't know if I've talked about it before. Probably I must have. But Inscription has a lot of things that uh, are really cool, but a lot of things that you don't expect happen in the game. So the game starts out in a single way where it's kind of like a card battle game that you're almost infinitely looping. You'll kind of go through it and battle a boss at the end, and sort of nothing happens. Like you defeat the boss and then you'll kind of have a mystery to solve. You kind of get into a position where like, huh, I just beat it, but what am I doing now? Like the ending is the same as the lose ending, and you're kind of like, oh, this has some layers to it. So, and that's really where the game starts to get really interesting. So once you play through Inscription, uh, well, I want to say twice because the first time you play through it, you get to a point where no matter how good you're doing, you auto lose, which is kind of a mechanic I hate. Uh, to be honest, like in games where like you get to a point and the game just makes it so that you cannot win, right? It's like one of those types of situations. Like in an RPG, you have a type of battle that's you'll go into and it'll be a auto lose, right? Like you cannot win it. There's no way to win. And eventually, when the battle ends, the story continues. Like that's kind of something that happens in Inscription at least one time, and it's not my favorite thing, but I kind of understand why it's in there in the game, but like not a great design choice ever. I think almost ever. Like, uh, it's just kind of like a pet peeve of mine where you want. I mean, generally, I want my games to be entirely based on my skill level, right? If I'm losing, I want to be losing because it's my fault. And, like an auto loss is not something that you will ever feel good about, right? So there is that. But once you get past that, it only happens once. It's not forever, but you kind of have to play through it a couple of times and defeat the boss a couple of times to figure out, like, A, you're kind of learning the basic mechanics of the game, and B, you're kind of getting into the mystery solving aspect where you're kind of discovering clues. You're like kind of trapped in a cabin, and you have to continually play this card game against a boss. This like dude in the shadows. You can't see him. He kind of plays all of the bosses. Like he just puts on a different mask to play the different bosses, and you battle through this. And eventually, once you figure out the kind of puzzle elements that are part of the, like, not part of the card game directly, sometimes it is, but it's mixed in. There's once you figure out all the puzzle elements, you can kind of escape the cabin, and then the game takes a turn, like a completely unexpected turn. So like when I first heard about the game, it was from one of my coworkers, and he was telling me like, "Oh yeah, it's like kind of like a cool card game, like Slay the Spire." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I really like Slay the Spire, so I'm gonna download that and try it." And I was enjoying it in that way, and then I beat it, or I thought I did, because once I finished the cabin part, it turned into an entirely new game. Uh, and that is, I mean, I guess spoilers, but to properly tell you about the game, I kind of have to spoil a little bit. I won't tell you the story, but like, uh, it's still a card game afterwards, and it's still the same type of card game, but it turns into something entirely different. It becomes like almost like a 2D like top-down RPG for a little bit, where the battles kind of consist of card battles instead of like a turn-based RPG battle. You have a turn-based card battle, and once you get into that second stage of things, it's like this kind of 2D RPG thing, and it opens up a whole new like level of mechanics to the game, where you have different whole new decks of cards you can use. It changes from like one kind of singular deck to four different types of decks, and then you have like this whole new part where you're trying to figure out new types of puzzles in the kind of world map, with new decks of cards and new mechanics and new types of things that you're doing. It's like an entirely different game that is story-wise connected, and it's really kind of ingenious. Like you go through the game in the first part, and like just the first part alone is engaging enough that, like, if the whole game were that, I wouldn't have been disappointed. Like, if the entire game was just the first part of the game, I would have been like, yeah, that was kind of cool, and I would have played through it a couple of times more and tried to figure out as much as I could, and then I would have kind of like been, all right, that was cool. But after you get past the first part, it turns into this 2D like kind of RPG thing, and once you get through that, it turns into a whole nother thing, which is like this kind of like almost like a first person dungeon crawling type of thing, where you're kind of in you're uh, consider it something like how Persona 1 is like a first person dungeon crawler, or like I guess like Etrian Odyssey, or things like games like that. That's kind of what it becomes. You're exploring a kind of factory type of thing in 3D, and there's not really battles in the 3D part so much. Like, it's the battles you have are still card battles, but like the puzzles are like those kind of like 2D. Sorry, the light, my computer was on and the light just turned off. Now the light's going to be weird in the video, but you know, you know how this is. You know I don't have any editing quality to my videos. But yeah, so the game itself like turns into almost three different games basically, and it's not just that. Like once you play through the thing, everything is connected. There's an overarching story that's connects all the three parts, and it's done in a way that they're like found footage YouTube videos almost. Like it's a YouTube channel that has like found these cards in real life and found this game in real life and is making videos about it in, you know, much the same style as I'm making this video right now, except like, you know, better production quality and like somebody who actually cared about their YouTube channel. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a really interesting thing, and when it opened up into that, it was like jarring and interesting, and it got me really excited about the game, like way more than I would have, and I really wanted to figure out the whole story and figure out all of the other aspects to it, and it was really cool. So what happens is even after you beat the game, beating the entire game, the entire story of it, unlocks an entirely new mode of the game. Like a different version of the game is unlocked, and it's kind of like almost like an endless battle mode, but not quite. It's kind of like a challenge battle mode where you have like various challenge levels to try to defeat by giving yourself debuffs, basically. Like you're essentially giving yourself like you know, like disabilities in the game to you know, raise the challenge of each run. So like you have to run through this mode basically. You have to beat it probably about 12 or 13 times to get everything, to unlock the entirety of the story, like after the end of the game, to get like the complete story of it. But it's fun every time. So like you get a variety of different challenge modes to kind of go into and, you know, customize. You don't have to do them all at the same time. Even at the highest difficulty, you don't have to do all of the debuffs on you at the same time. You can kind of pick and choose which ones you want to use and which ones you don't, to get your way through it without really having a problem. But yeah, I mean, I had a lot of fun with Inscryption. It was, you know, I'm assuming it's not put together by like a giant team of people. It's not like graphically impressive in any way. It's game mechanically though, it is interesting and kind of innovative, and not even just kind of, just really fun. I had a lot of fun playing Inscryption, and the way that the story is set up and the way that it unlocks is really kind of interesting and unexpected. And interesting and unexpected is something that you don't usually get everywhere, right? Some things are very straightforward. Some things are very, and that's not always bad, but when you get something that is interesting and unexpected in places that you don't expect them to be interesting and unexpected, you get a, you know, like a elevated type of game. And I will say that I would consider Inscryption to be an elevated type of game, a game that you should play because it's got an interesting enough story, it's got interesting enough mechanics, and it's got surprises and twists and different mechanics that are happening as you get better at the game and get You know, like just when you get to a point where you think, well, like I'm done with this, like I've beat it. You haven't. And that's kind of cool. Like you get to a point where you you have beaten part of it, but a new part unlocks and then it becomes something new. And not entirely new though. So the skills you've learned in the previous parts will carry over to the new parts. And I would almost say that like the first part is probably the hardest part in the sense that like once you've mastered that, the next parts are all kind of easy because you know how all the mechanics work. Even the new mechanics when they're introduced are not difficult. It's just like another layer added on to how you're playing the game already. So it's really quite well put together and everything, you know, by the end it's kind of a complicated card game, but it's been introduced to you so well in layers that you don't really care that it's so complicated. By the end, you've just integrated the entirety of it by, you know, like just through progression. So it's actually very well designed. Like that's a kind of thing that I really enjoyed about Inscryption. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of it. That's kind of it for Inscryption here. That's maybe all I wanted to say, which is, I mean, this video is like almost, what, like 17 minutes or so. That's maybe short for me, right? Like, I'm usually talking for like 40 minutes. But, yeah, that's basically it for this once in a very long time impressions video. So, but as I mentioned at the beginning, which is probably too late now because most people don't watch a video for 17 minutes, but I guess people who would watch my channel would of course watch a video for 17 minutes because all of my videos are like an hour. But the real thing I wanted to talk about is that I have a band. It's a duo. It's me and a singer from Hawaii. So me and a female vocalist. I write the music. She writes the lyrics and sings the songs. And we have an EP coming out. Our duo is called Mesmer Shade. We have an EP, it's called Echoes of Elegy, and it will be coming out on September 22nd. Now, what I'm asking is that you guys go down into the links, into the, you know, the description of the video, and click on the link to subscribe to our Spotify channel. Now, if you don't use Spotify, that's okay. You can still go to the link, check out everything. All the music is free. There's no charge for it. It will be on Apple Music. It will be on Spotify. It will be on anything you can think of. It will be on YouTube. It will be on everything. But if you click that link in the description, it will have links to all the pages that you'll want to look for. So it'll have links to our social media. It'll have links to the YouTube channel, though the videos will honestly probably also show up here. But it will have links to the Mesmer Shade YouTube channel and the Spotify and the Twitter and Instagram and whatever else is on there. And it will be updated also in the future when we add more stuff. But if you do have a Spotify account, and even if you don't want to listen to the music, you don't like it, you don't care, it does me like a huge solid if you just click on that link and register for the channel. Like, you don't have to listen to it, you just have to register for it, which is just a single click. You don't have to share your email. You don't have to do anything. Just click the button. And I mean, transparently, it's just a way that when the album releases, Spotify sees that, oh, this artist suddenly has a big spike in subscribers on the day of their release, and they kind of look at the song and say, oh, we should push this. So, like I said, even if you don't want to spend the 2.5 minutes that it'll be to listen to this song that'll come out, or the 15 minutes to listen to the EP, if you just spend 10 seconds to go to the comments and click on the subscribe to the Mesmer Shade Spotify channel, that would be a huge help for me and my first EP release. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about mostly, but yeah, you guys will see more of that on this channel soon. On the 22nd, I will probably release a music video for the first song on the EP. So you don't necessarily have to go to Spotify or SoundCloud to follow us, although that would be nice. You will be able to see it right here on the 22nd. So please check it out when it shows up in your feed. Don't wonder what it is. Just click on it and give it a listen. Even, click on it, listen, give some comments, give some love over here. I am, doing my thing. But, yeah, I mean, that's kind of it for this video. I think maybe I'll do another one that is just an update on what I've been doing recently. Why don't I make any videos? Why don't I talk about any games like I just talked about Inscryption? I can go into that more. But the short version is that I work as a game localizer right now, and I'm slowly transitioning to be moved to the development team. So I have begun working on the development team already, so I've created things for the game, and they'll soon be in the game. But I'm working towards making that more of my focus than just the localization part. So I can probably talk more about that in another video, just because it's kind of I'm already way past the Inscryption part, which is generally what this video is about. But yeah, I mean, I will go more into that in another video soon. Sometime before the EP drops, so I can shill for it a little bit more. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think. If you've played Inscryption, tell me how did you like it? What did you think about it? If you haven't heard about it, maybe check it out. It's kind of cool, kind of a cool game. And I think you can get it on basically any system at this point. It's probably on PC. It's definitely on all the consoles. So, go nuts. It's not expensive. It's a good fun time sink. It's good. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, and give me some comments about what you might want me to talk about soon, something in the near future. Things I probably can't talk about that I know you guys want me to talk about. Shin Megami Tensei 5 I cannot talk about. I can't talk about very specific game development things, I guess. I can't talk about I don't know, lots of things. But I can't talk about anything I haven't played either, which is kind of a lot of things recently, because I just haven't gotten to play a lot of stuff just because I've been doing game development myself, and it just kind of stops you from having the time to play what you want to play all the time. But yeah, I mean, this video has gone on way longer than I expected it to. But if you're still here checking it out, thank you. Thank you for hanging in to my always long rambling videos. And yeah, I hope to talk to you guys soon. So yeah, see you next time.